How are you guys doing? This is Ryan, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna be talking about the 8 steps to become rich. Now, being rich has many different definitions, and for me, I guess my kind of like qualifications to make this video is I've been kind of obsessed with this topic for like the past 8 years. And over the past few years, I've been able to grow my net worth by over $100,000 each year. So I think that's something pretty cool. And looking back at my younger self, or if I wasn't doing this, I would really be interested to see, how someone was accomplishing this. So it's very important to watch the whole video to go over all 8 steps to understand the philosophical approach that goes into this, because it's just not as simplistic as getting a few of them and grow your wealth. I've really put in time and retracing a lot of things that really helped me and my wife and my family out, and I hope you guys find value in it too. So if you find any value in this video, all I ask in return is just hit that thumbs up button, and let's not waste any more time and let's jump into the video. Alright, so the first step I find to be very important is to get picky with your spending. And I want to be careful when I say, like, don't just be frugal, and try not to be always a consumer. Like, being frugal is important. Try to reduce the amount of consumerism that you partake in, and eventually you want to try to become the producer. There's people that spend money for people to give them value, and then there's people that create value for others and people give them their money. So being frugal is really good, reducing your spending and having more capital for you. And now the way you spend that money, you don't necessarily need to be cheap with it. Like, I spend a lot of money on investing in things. I'm very not cheap in investing, but when it goes to buying more consumeristic things, I don't really find spending money in that way to be as gratifying and as useful in my life. It doesn't bring me anything back in the future. When you spend money on consumerism, it's gone forever. You might get a temporary high from buying something that you enjoy, and shortly after that, it's over. Even something like this house that I'm living in. Everything in this house becomes a tax write-off. A lot to do because my wife runs a YouTube channel about decor and lifestyle and like buying that range hood and anything else around here. We try to make all of our purchases that improve our standard of living to also be something that we can use to market and create money from. And my wife gets paid from things like YouTube ad revenue, Amazon affiliate links, and things like that. So these are just ideas to think of. Don't always be the consumer, also be the producer. So that brings me to step number 2, and that is you need to build up skills. And particularly this video is gonna be more biased towards my experience, but I think having a skill in like sales or creating a business, something that doesn't allow your income to get capped. And with that said, also just getting in a good work environment, whether you create that business for yourself or you can work for a great company that treats you well, gives you good bonuses, increases your income, but it's very hard to become rich when you don't have very good income. And for me, the skills that have worked has been the ability to sell and also the ability to organize a business. And what has been able to personally work for me is learning how to sell and also organizing a business and then taking that money, and that has really allowed me to grow my net worth over time. Step number 3 is go the extra mile. Go the extra mile. And what I mean by that is, like, the average work week is 40 hours a week. And if you only work 40 hours a week just like everyone else, that's the average. So don't be surprised if you come out average. And not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, if you're happy with that, work your 40 hours, go home, and there's other things that fulfill you, like, that's fine. And this video may not necessarily be for you. But if you really want to grow massive amounts of wealth, and we'll talk about reasons why I think that's important towards the end of the video, then consider working a little extra. And it's a lot easier to work more when you really enjoy what you're doing and you know you're gonna make a lot more income from it and your work is fulfilling. I'll share a quick story about me. I do several things to make money, and one of them over the years, even with making over like 6-figure income, I gave up my Saturday nights to go work green screens at like bar mitzvah parties and weddings to make a few hundred extra bucks, working like 5-6 hours to like 1 o'clock in the morning, because one, I know how valuable making money is when you're young versus when you're older. Like, when you invest your money when you're younger, it grows a lot more over time because it can compound more. So that's just something silly about me that some of like my friends never understood. Like, I worked all week, worked a bunch, and would still work Saturday nights to make an extra like $10,000 a year. And making that extra $10,000 a year was helpful, and then I got a rental property. That made me an extra $10,000 a year. And then I started a YouTube channel. This is making me like an extra $6,000 a year, plus businesses I've built. It's very risky to rely on one source of income. And I think a lot of people probably learned that during this pandemic, that lost their jobs, that only had one source of income. In investing, we talk about all the time about how important diversifying your investments are. That also applies to your workplace. It's so risky to rely on one source of income. And that brings me to step number 4, and that is actually partnerships. I'll talk about one first, like your life partner, your husband, wife, you have to make sure you're in a healthy relationship, that you have good communication and common goals, because wealth building is a paradigm within itself. It's a lifestyle. It's how we spend our money. It's how we spend our time. It's what do we teach our kids. You have to make sure all that's on the same page with your partner. And for me and my wife, we really drive each other. Building businesses and working long hours, it's not super easy, don't get me wrong, but when you have someone that is loving and understanding and understands what you're doing and why you're doing it, it becomes a lot easier and it actually drives you even further. So having a great life partner is really important. And on the contrary, not having a good life partner could be like devastating to this. So it may not actually be for you, or if building wealth is something that you really want to do and the other person doesn't understand it, that relationship, in my opinion, is unlikely to work. And then also in partnerships, that also goes into like business and employing people. In life and doing things, like people are so important. Like for any business, like employees are like the most important assets most of the time. And as you build more businesses, you can't just like be the sole owner of all of them. Like you have to have good partners and trust people. So partnership and teamwork and finding good people and finding like-minded people that want to do exciting things and build new things and attracting great people to work with you is so important. And step number 5 is not being afraid to take risk. I still get butterflies when I buy a new stock. It drives me crazy when an investment's not going well, but it is so necessary to the whole cycle of things. And like you're gonna fail sometimes too. And it reminds me of a J.K. Rowling quote. She's the author that wrote Harry Potter. For some reason, this quote has stuck with me for years, so I'll put it on the screen here and I'll read it. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default. That has really stuck with me over the years, like the idea of letting fear of whatever it is, failure or what other people think of you, or any kind of paralyzing emotion you have inside you that is stopping you. It made me think that taking risk is the only logical thing to do. Or else what is the point of living? Like you're so scared to bash against the walls of life. You actually find out that like when you poke life, like it kind of reacts to you. You know, you're either reacting to the world or the world can react to you. So when you understand that, it's very important, and it really changes your whole psychology and puts you on offense in life versus defense. And that brings me to step number 6, and that is get your free stock from WeBull. Sorry, quick joke, quick side note, but like getting free money is cool. In the pinned comment below, there's a link. If you click on that link, you can go get 2 free stocks. If you put like $100 in the account, valued up to like $1,400. It's literally free money, free money. It's kind of a joke, but that does bring me to number 6, and that is to invest. You have to become an investor, and we've kind of hinted at it throughout the video, but you have to understand the basics of money. Like you cannot save money and become wealthy. Money is designed to go down in value. That's how the whole economic system works. They print more of it, and each year you hold money, it becomes less valuable over time. You can't buy as many materialistic consumer items with it, and also assets become more expensive. So an asset is anything that usually like produces income, like a business is an asset, a stock therefore is an asset, cash flowing real estate is an asset, and also things that appreciate in value are considered to be assets too. So even like commodities like gold and silver can be considered assets. Cryptocurrencies go up in value, they can be considered assets. So not saying this is like financial advice, invest in those things, but you have to get educated in some degree and become an investor and learn how to invest your money so it grows over time, so you don't get poorer. You're not working so hard every day to build an amazing life, and then that wealth that you've created just gets destroyed by the system. Crazy to me that we don't talk about this in school. It's like the most important thing, like the whole system we live in. But you can learn more about this if you subscribe to the channel and try that notification bell. And if you're this far in the video and you haven't hit the thumbs up button, make sure to do that. And so getting educated on it is so important. There's so many good books to read. There's so many good YouTube channels to watch. And there's easy ways to invest. Like you can invest in ETFs like VU or VTI that buy the whole market, the whole American stock market that historically goes up over time by 8 to 10%. You can just buy that. If you don't want to look into a bunch of investments and just want to like work hard and make money, like do something like that. I would do something like that if I didn't want to like research investments and track them and keep up with it like that. It does take time to do that, but become an investor, become a producer of value, and then take that value you've created for other people and invest. And that brings me to number seven, and that is to have a strong why. Like, why are you doing this? Why is building building wealth important and important to you? And really I can only speak for me, living life in scarcity is like horrifying and very stressful to me. And contrary, like having abundance is very calming to me. That like knowing when the pandemic hit, like yeah, things were scary, but like I could still like feed my family, or I could use the opportunity to invest into cheaper stocks at the time when the stock market crashed. And everyone has different whys. For me, it's like a survival instinct. And for me, it's just like the most logical thing to do with my time. And I really find value in the idea of like being able to like provide well for my kids. And if my wife wants something nice, I could provide that to her. Doing things for other people and having abundance is really important to me. I think maybe my only guilty pleasure spend was buying the Tesla Model 3, which was technically for my wife, but also I really wanted it. But going back to number one, like I'm able to document it on this channel and I do reviews of the car. So on some level, this vehicle is going to find a way to be a tax write-off and actually produce income for the YouTube channel. So it goes back to becoming a producer and not always a consumer. It has huge benefits and tax incentives. None of this is tax advice. Consult with a professional, and all of this is education and entertainment. For financial advice, you should really consult with a professional. And that brings me to the last and final step, and that is number 8. And that is to get started, like now, or like wait till the video is over, but then like get started with these steps right after this. There's an old Chinese proverb I've always liked. It's the best time to plant a tree is 25 years ago, and the second best time is today. Like you can't look back and say, you know, if I invested in Google in 2000, like that would have been great to do. Like what is the next Google today? Like what can I do to take action and change my life and put it on the offense starting now? What is that business you wanted to start? Did you want to create a YouTube channel? What is stopping you? Get started now. Don't make excuses. Know that anything that you do in life, you're only gonna get better as you go. Like when you first start a YouTube channel, your first videos are gonna be really bad. When you first start going to the gym, you're gonna be really weak. And as you keep on going and keep on working those muscles and keep on improving your skills, and consistency will get you there. It's really difficult to beat someone or to lose at something in life when you just never give up. Like persistency is so important. So get started now, become persistent, and it's that easy. So, also guys, please make sure to follow me on Instagram. I like chatting with people over there. I'll put my handle right here on the screen. You can shoot me DMs. I post there pretty much daily. I'm here on YouTube every week. Every Sunday I upload, but on Instagram I post content every day. So please make sure to follow me over there. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.